analysis. Okay, one of the first things we have to do when we're writing a speech is we have to know who we're talking to. We have to analyze the audience. Now there's a whole bunch of acronyms, a whole bunch of tricks people use to get to know an audience, but it's something we learn over time as we're growing up. You know how to get your mom to do something for you, or you know how to get $5 from your dad, or you know how to get to borrow the car, or whatever it might be. So, or get your spouse to go to a restaurant that you like. You know how to do that because you know how to push their buttons. And what you've done throughout your life is you've been analyzing your audience. They are your audience. So when you speak someplace, like you're going to be speaking in front of this classroom, so you have to get to know who the audience is. Now it's not just here, it's not just public speaking where you will be analyzing an audience. You're going to analyze an audience when you do your personal interview at the university. You're going to be sitting down there with somebody across the table, and then they have the power to admit you to the university or not. So you've got to know what it is they're looking for. You've got to know what do they expect. You've got to know what they're up against, what kind of challenges they have, and so you have to talk to them accordingly. Just like when you go to the bank to get a loan for a car, or you're trying to get anything else, you've got to analyze the audience. So also when you're getting scholarships, or when you graduate, when you want to get into graduate school, or when you want to get a job, or you want to get a pay raise, or you want to get a promotion, or you want to get a specific assignment, all these things need audience analysis. So the things to audience analysis is to be aware and to get to know people, and ask questions and then listen. So you want to know, what do they expect, what do they want to hear, what do they need to hear, why are they there, why are you in front of them, all these things to form your message. So the idea, once you get to know somebody and find out what it is they're looking for, then you can form your message better. Let's say, for example, that I'm going to do a speech, and I'm going to do it for, let's say, a service club. So a service club, and let's say a Rotary club. There's a Rotary down in Tacoma I can just think of I went to. So what they would do, they'd call up and they would say, hey, can you come down and speak to our group? And I say, well, sure, what do you want me to speak about? And of course they all talk about communication, but they say that communication. I say, well, that's a pretty broad subject. What specifically about communication do you want to know? And then, so I'll ask questions. I'll say, what do you guys, tell me, what's your organization, the mission, which I already know anyway, but what are you guys doing? What projects are you working on? You have any trouble with them? Are you having trouble getting members? Are you having any challenges? Are you having any conflict? Are you trying to do professional development like leadership, team building, or group dynamics? What are those things? So what is it that you guys are interested in? Or do you want to help your speakers, help your members become better speakers so they can rise and take on various responsibilities within the club? And so I ask all those questions, and then once I sit down and I get those answers, then I'll form a message. So I'll think of my central idea, and then I'll make 1, 2, maybe 3 points. Depends upon how long I have to speak. And then I'll make it for them for what they want. So this particular one I was talking about in Tacoma, though, I did not analyze the audience, and it was a big mistake. So when I got down there to this club, they wanted me to speak about leadership. And I didn't know why they picked leadership. I didn't even ask any questions. But I just figured, leadership, that's easy. I've got a kind of a canned speech. I can go ahead and do that. So when I get down there and I'm starting to talk to people, I find out the president of PLU is there, Pacific Lutheran University. I find the mayor of Tacoma is there. I find that the CEO of Russell Investments is there. The CEO of Milgard Windows is down there, and provost over at University of Puget Sound. All in that club. So what am I going to talk to them about leadership? I thought, oh my goodness, that was a bad thing. So it could have been a disaster. I ended up doing something different rather than speaking. I had them speak. I just facilitated some things. But if I would have analyzed that audience, I would have come down with something much more prepared and something that was probably better, although it did work out. But always analyze your audience. Now, in your case, you're going to not only need it for those things I mentioned before, but you're going to need it to get into a class that's full. You can't go to your teacher and say, oh yeah, I need to get into this class because I graduate in the fall. If I don't get into it, I won't be able to graduate. Well, that doesn't help the teacher at all. All it does is says what your problem is. So when you are analyzing the audience, you got to find out, okay, this teacher has this class, what do they want to know? So, and then what is my single most unfair advantage that I have that I can convince them to let me in? So you analyze the teacher. Ask other people about it. Ask other teachers, do you know so-and-so? And then what you do is you go down there and you approach them. I know most teachers, I'll help you out here, most teachers, they want somebody who's going to take part in the class. They want somebody who's going to cooperate. Remember, we talked about that. They want somebody who's going to participate. They want somebody who's going to show up and help out and bring new things. By the way, for international students, we want somebody to come in and give a different viewpoint. We want somebody to come in and tell us about a different culture. So we want all those things. So if you analyze the teacher, find out what it is they want. Do they want participation? They want somebody who's going to show up every day? Do they want somebody who's going to help other students? Do they want somebody who's going to bring new experiences into the classroom? And then you hit upon those. And I can tell you, when it comes overload time and the class is full and you talk to the teacher in that manner on what's going to benefit the teacher, you will get a lot better results than just going in and saying, I need the class really bad or I'm not going to graduate. So always analyze an audience. Now for our class here, this is our audience. All of you in the class right now is our audience. We're doing several things to analyze the audience. We're doing speeches of introduction, we're doing written things on Canvas, and I'm having you get together and talk to each other and get to know each other pretty well, so you'll know what will be interesting to your audience here when it comes time to choose topics.